Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here, and welcome back to another crypto video. And it wouldn't be a good day if we didn't have yet another Ripple versus SEC lawsuit update. We actually have 3 documents today, so sit tight, it's going to be interesting, and I have an article which I really want to cover. The XRP lawsuit seems long drawn. Should Ripple settle? And this title really caught my eye, because we've been thinking for a very good while, well, if Ripple has such an upper hand and the SEC has been putting up so much BS over the last couple of weeks, why is it still being drawn out this far? Why has it really been decided all along? Are we actually not that certain? And will Ripple want to settle because they have such a good hand, or what are they waiting for? And I want to explain a little bit more about that. But first, let's quickly check which of these 3 came out the first. This one is 3 a.m., this one is the first. So, Ripple versus SEC. Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson have filed another motion for international discovery. Like the last one, it is long and the exhibits are probably repetitive, and this, to be honest, is not that interesting of a document. It's just a request for additional international discovery, requesting to find more information around the world, basically. A little bit earlier, we saw Ripple put up such documents because they wanted information from some of the people that they've worked with in different countries around the world, mostly exchanges. And right now, looking at the names here, you can see BITRUE is what they're adjusting, and just some different names of different exchanges around the world. Mostly, what I'm thinking, to get information regarding the transactions to showcase to the judge and the SEC that a lot of the transactions that the SEC is suing Ripple for are or were transacted overseas, and partially also were done by non-US nationals, so they didn't have jurisdiction over those. Moving on, we had another document, SEC v. Ripple. The SEC has filed its response to Ripple's motion to compel the SEC to turn over the internal Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP documents Judge Netburn has already twice told them to turn over. So, yeah, that's just, again, the SEC has filed its response. Okay, let's actually explain from the base. Ripple, a couple of months ago already, or weeks ago, whatever, requested documents from the SEC. The SEC had in a position. A hearing went by, and another hearing went by. What kind of happened, what the conclusion was, that the SEC had to give over some documents relating to Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP, right? Internal memos and internal documents. A little bit later, though, the SEC denied that, so the judge ordered it for the second time. And now still the SEC is denying that. So Ripple came up with a motion to compel, which is basically a request to the judge to compel these documents, to just, the SEC now has to give them over before a certain date, no questions about it. If they don't, they're defying an order from the judge, or basically they're defying a motion, which is a little bit worse than defying like a discovery ordeal. I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, but the SEC is now given their response, and I'm not exactly sure what they say. I didn't actually read through this one for the first time in a very good while. It's actually only 4 pages. Defendant's premature request for FinHub emails is moot. Okay, that's one. Defendant's premature request for these documents is moot, and the SEC expects to substantially complete its production of any responsive non-privileged internal memoranda by the date defendants request, and will produce its privilege logs on the same timeline as defendants. Defendants first demand that the court order the SEC to complete its production of internal responsive non-privileged documents by June 18th is perplexing. The SEC had already told defendants that it expects to substantially complete its production by June 18th, the same date defendants committed to complete their productions to the SEC. The SEC is expending significant resources to completing this production by June 18th, and certainly anticipates doing so. This is another premature and moot request. So what the SEC has kind of concluded now to do is that they're saying, you know what, Ripple, you're prematurely saying all of this because we are still planning to give it all over to you. And they're still searching is another part that I'm picking up right here for all of this. They've not been given enough time. They met and conferred a little while ago. It says right here, during June 1st, meeting conferred. The SEC told defendants that it would consider the request and inform defendants of the SEC's position as of the FinHub emails. The FinHub emails. The SEC was in the process of providing an answer on June 4th. The defendant filed the motion, so a couple of days afterwards. SEC here is saying they were too quick with all of this. Yeah, that's the conclusion. And number 4, defendant's request for SEC internal trading policies seeks irrelevant documents and should be denied. There, again, the SEC is saying for one part of these requests that it should not be given to Ripple because it's not relevant. Okay. And then we got some exhibits as to it all. You can read those out for yourself if you want to. It's from Zornberg Lisa, not exactly sure. I guess she's from SEC's party. To to Jorge Terrero from the SEC. Whatever. All right, you just check it out for yourself. And maybe it's Ripple's side of things. I think so. Whatever, guys. You can read it for yourself. Moving on, we got another one. SEC v. Ripple. The SEC just filed a reply in support of its request that the court... By the way, if you're watching these videos and you're enjoying them, make sure you press the like button on this video, right? Just make sure you help out a little bit. And if you'll be notified every time something happens in this lawsuit, it's also a smart idea to quickly, press that little subscribe button. All right, so SEC v. Ripple, the SEC just filed a reply in support of its request that the court extend the deadlines for both fact and expert discovery by 60 days. So we got another reply to it. I've already told you guys a couple of days ago, I think now or yesterday or the day before, that I expected this to come out. Ripple's claim that it will be prejudiced by extending the discovery schedule is unsupported. That's the first one that they came up with. I already read through this. What they're saying in layman's terms, in easy terms. The SEC said, well, we want to extend this because it would be beneficial to all of us. Ripple said, no, it would prejudice us. It would be really, really bad. And the SEC says, well, that might be so, but you're not telling the court exactly why this is so. And the Court of Appeals held that the district court may consider whether allowing plaintiffs to amend their complaint would be prejudice the defendants, but the court did not specify what would constitute prejudice sufficient to deny a request to amend. The SEC is not aware of any decision denying a plaintiff additional time for discovery to advance the defendant's business interest, and Ripple cites to none. They're saying there's not enough evidence, you're not showing anything, the case you are showing is not showing exactly what you're saying, and they're putting up some more information on that. Also regarding ODL, let's quickly see. Point number 2, the SEC has been diligent in pursuing and responding to discovery and has demonstrated good cause for the requested extension. This is what we will definitely debate about. I would say the SEC did not put up any good reasoning as to why they want it. Then again, what they've done just now is actually basically give another little BS document that they do want it, but I don't think the judge is also going to buy this one because it's really just the same thing as before, right? It's just the SEC saying, no, we need to extend because it's good for everybody. It's good for us. We gave you a good reason. And Ripple's like, no, you didn't. You didn't give us any good reason. And you're only making it bad for us because that's what they know. Then that has a couple of pre-points. Most of the motions in this case were filed by defendants, which basically means Ripple said as a reply that the majority of this time loss that the SEC is complaining about was because they filed something which was false or because they took so much time to respond. And the SEC says, no, you filed a lot of motions that took a lot of time to extend all of this. The SEC has been diligent in serving document requests and subpoenas. Ripple's sole argument that the SEC has not been diligent in discovery is based on its claim that a certain documents, requests, and subpoenas, which the SEC served in May and June, should have been served earlier. But these requests and subpoenas actually show the SEC's diligence and the defendant's delays in responding, so they support the SEC's request for an extension of time rather than cut against it. For example, the SEC served a 6 set of requests for production to Ripple on May 20th, to ensure that Ripple provided the SEC with copies of the documents that Ripple was collecting through voluntary discovery, after the SEC learned in May that Ripple was not doing so. In addition, the fact that the SEC recently had to begin collecting documents via subpoenas from the individual defendants and third-party deponents per personal devices is another reason why an extension is needed, because they show that Ripple has been attempting to prevent the SEC from attaining relevant discovery. And this one is one of the most fun parts and everything. Ripple, as one of the arguments put up, that the SEC, for example, for these Bitcoin, Ether, and whatever documents has been so slow, they put up now here that Ripple has been preventing the SEC from obtaining documents, where Ripple showed how many thousands upon thousands of documents they gave, and the SEC, well, they don't really try or even attempt any of that. The current discovery deadlines cannot reasonably be met. That's, again, a debate that's easily debatable, or that's, I guess, a reason which can be easily debatable. One person might say, well, I mean, if it cannot be met, that's your own fault. And Ripple's side would say, well, it can easily be met. They're citing a couple of points as to why it can't. It needs additional time to develop the factual record. There is insufficient time to review the documents being produced by Ripple before the deposition is currently scheduled at 4. Without an extension, the SEC will not be able to use Ripple's not yet produced privilege log in deposing the individual defendants, and there will be insufficient time for Ripple and third parties to produce documents responsive to the SEC's request and for the SEC to take additional depositions. That's what they're saying. And that was basically it. So once more, I'm not saying it's BS. I am purely saying that it's interesting the way they put it up here. I'm not sure if the judge is going to buy all of this, because I would say they didn't really add anything new to their first document. According to the SEC, accordingly, the SEC respectfully requests that the court extend the deadlines for fact discovery in this case by 60 days to and including August 31st, 2020, and the deadline for expert discovery by a corresponding amount to and including October 15th, 2021. So that would be rather annoying, because that's 2 extra months that we then have to wait for kind of a result if this is going to be pulling through to some rejudgment and whatnot. If there's still a settlement, I mean, it might not actually matter, because the settlement might still come in the discovery phase regardless, but if not, it would be really kind of annoying, at least in my opinion, that is. And here, the XP lawsuit seems long drawn. Should Ripple settle? Well, let me quickly give you guys a conclusion, right? Ripple could settle, but it would have to be on a couple of bases. And right now, the biggest debate is, does the SEC have some sort of bargaining room, yes or no? Because the way it's looking, the SEC has nothing to bargain with on Ripple's side, so they would prefer to go to summary judgment, because, well, the SEC has no reason to settle if you can't bring anything to the table, because, well, you're in no position to make any, requests. But that's debatable, and that's definitely questionable at best, because we have no idea what type of info the SEC has and what exactly the judge is looking for. As of this point, I would not be able to tell you what exactly the SEC is charging who for what, where, why, and, to what extent, because they've changed that a couple of times, and we are not sure if it's only about the XRP before the lawsuit started or after it too, and if it's only Ripple or every single person ever transacting XRP. We're not exactly sure who it is against. We're also not sure if the motion to intervene is going to pull through, and if any of the investigations regarding Jay Clayton and whatnot actually have any result. Which that basically means is that we don't know how much bargaining power Ripple has, because we don't know exactly what the SEC was looking for. Then again, that's also the opposite way around. We don't know how much bargaining power the SEC has, because we don't know exactly what they are trying to prove in this specific sense, nor what the judge will think when they're trying to prove something like that. And we don't know how far Gary Gensler is with a rule book for crypto. We don't know if they're working on it whatsoever, or if this is going to happen after this case. We don't know so freaking much. We don't know how they regarded Bitcoin and Ether, because the SEC doesn't want to give up these documents. There's so much unknown that it's really hard to say if there's going to be a settlement soon, or if it's really been drawn out, again, my own opinion, too long, or not. Maybe it's just the normal way of things, and it's so hard to say, guys. So I would say and suggest, let us wait for a couple of conclusions from the judge. We just need 3, right? Motion to intervene, motion, I guess, to compel / so the motion to compel those documents, the Bitcoin, Ether, and XP documents, and so the motion to intervene, motion to compel, and the affirmative strike, I guess, the motion to strike Ripple's defense. And then I guess a fourth one, which is the conclusion on this 60-day thing, right? So we need 4 more things to come from the judge. Let us see, let us wait. There'll most likely be a couple more responses in the near term here, but let us see. And, I'll give you guys another update later today.